Hi guys, it's Nyla Dar here from Love Now TV. If not now, then when? The channel that helps you understand how your mind works and experience more love and understanding in all aspects of your life. In today's video, I want to introduce how the mind works from the inside out and how it works that way, whether we know it or not. And for you to discover how powerful, resilient, and freedom there is in knowing about the human design. So I'm going to demonstrate how that actually works by sharing with you a story about what happened to me in my early 20s. I was flying for Libyan Airline and I was the first class stewardess, and I saw a man go inside the cockpit and I could see something terrible was happening. But I didn't know until I got inside what was happening. I discovered to my horror that the plane was being hijacked, and we were supposed to go from Zurich to Libya, and the hijackers wanted us to go to Beirut. And the captain was speaking to the air traffic controllers as we headed that way, that this was happening and that we needed to land. But they didn't want to be part of the hijack and they were refusing to let us land. You've got to understand this happened a long time ago. It's not like terrorism and hijack are words that we had ever heard. And they threatened to put cars on the runway if we attempted to land. And I remember the terror that I was feeling in my body, thinking, my God, am I going to die like this? I was only in my 20s, and then suddenly I just had a new thought that popped into my head, because the fear was so unbearable. And the thought was, if God wants me to die like this, so be it. And I just found myself surrendering. And I just thought, I've got a job to do. I've got passengers to take care of. And the person who walked into the cockpit full of real fear that something terrible was happening, and the person that walked out were two very different people, all based on the thought I was having, or the thoughts I was having. As I surrendered, all the fear just left my body, and I just got on with the job at hand. Now the truth is, the hijack lasted 3 whole days. And each one of us who was on the plane, from the cockpit to the passengers to the hijackers, each and every one of us were experiencing the hijack from the inside out. And now each person's experience was very, very different. There was a girl it was her first flight for the airline. And she basically took off her jacket, was in shock, and curled up into the fetal position and put the jacket over her head. Somebody else fainted. Every single person was in the same circumstances, but each of us were having a very different experience internally based on the thoughts and feelings we were having. And that's what's happening all the time, even whether we know it or not. Now here's the thing. No fear, and dealt with whatever I had to deal with, even sitting, talking to the hijackers, saying to one of them, if my mum hears about this, it will kill her. What about your mum? And he said, well, I've been part of this group since I was 12. And he was my age, and he was Muslim like me. And he said, I've been part of this group since I was 12. and I will be revered for this. I will be considered a hero. That was his reality. Those were his beliefs based on thoughts he'd heard that he believed. I mean, we were similar age and our realities were so different. But regardless of what was happening, I was still feeling my own thoughts. And the fear never came back for the 3 days whilst the hijack was taking place. But, and this is a big but, when we were free, I had the thought, who is that girl who was in the hijack talking to the hijacker? It wasn't me. I am shy, I am insecure, and I don't have a lot of confidence. And guess what? That's how I felt, and that's how I became. That's what I believed, that's what my thoughts were at the time. And I started to feel that. Now, how many times do we think we are something because of what's happening outside of us? Or because we believe this is who I am? And those are thoughts as well. The way the mind works is that we're capable of having fresh new thinking about anything. And we don't do that. It's not doing positive thinking or affirmations. The mind is beautifully designed to give us fresh new thoughts. In any given situation, we will do the best we can with the thinking we have available. But to look in the direction of where our experience is created, to see the power there, to see the freedom, to see the choices that are available to us, that's a very different experience of life. Without knowing that, I thought I was a victim of circumstances. I thought how I felt was caused by my externals and not by my thoughts about them. Now, I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to experiment with yourself, whether it's with a partner or work or whatever. See how you think about that situation or person, and whether that changes depending on how your mood is. And that situation doesn't change, but you do, based on the thoughts you're having. We've been conditioned to believe that we experience the external world, that our success and our feelings of security or our attractiveness comes from the size we are, how slim we are. But no, it's all based on how we think about it. Whatever we think, that's what we'll feel. It's not telling us the truth about us, about our lives, about our capabilities. It's just telling us how the mind works from the inside out. So I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts about what I'm sharing. And if there are any circumstances where you think, no, that's not my thoughts about them, that's the truth about them. I'm curious to hear anything that makes sense to you and doesn't make sense to you. The links to the website and the channel are below. If you think there's any value in this video, please share it, and I appreciate it if you do. And every month, for the people who subscribe to Love Now TV or nyladar.com, I take a name randomly out of a box and offer a free 1-hour coaching session as a way of saying thank you. So I hope you got some value from this video, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thank you. Bye for now.